Loves, I'm back with another update. Balance is key.
This is probably one of the most impromptu YouTube videos that I'm gonna make, but I missed you guys. I haven't made a video in so long, and it makes me feel so sad because I know that it's something I want to do, but I struggle so much with feeling confident on camera and talking like a normal person. So I figured, since I'm comfortable and relaxed and I know there's noises outside, but I said, hey, I'm gonna just put the camera on. I love the way the light is hitting my patio, and I'm gonna just talk. So I guess this video will be an update video of my life. As you've noticed, I have posted some videos on astrology. I spoke about the Great Conjunction. I was doing guided messages on Instagram. I was doing it on Instagram, but I was doing guided messages on YouTube weekly. And at one point I just stopped because I was so focused on building out my website to share my consultations. So I am a Reiki healer, a wellness educator, a human design chart reader, and I have my own apothecary shop. And that has been such a beautiful process, but also really, really hard to manage. That is one of the cleaners passing by. It's been really hard to manage it all. So I was trying to build out a website, at the same time keep up with adding YouTube to my routine, keep up with my own routine and spiritual practice, because I don't want to be on camera talking about things I'm not living, and also working on creating proper and healthy routines and structures around food. So for those of you who watched my very first videos on this channel, you will know that I have battled with disordered eating, and it is something that I've struggled with my whole life because I've never grown up around healthy eating habits. I think many of us have not. Like, we've just seen people normalize intermittent fasting, binge eating, just anything out of balance just isn't good for you. And what I've been focusing on is finding homeostasis in my body, balancing my life, and focusing on things that bring me peace, like the sun and my plants, and just living well overall. So that is another reason why I took a break from YouTube. But again, I just felt like I couldn't balance everything out, and I noticed that a big part of why I was battling with disordered eating was anxiety. And if you're anxious, you tend to have issues when things are not in your control. When you're anxious, you tend to have expectations, and those expectations and those worries was causing me to focus so much on work. I was taking time away from like cooking for myself and eating for myself. And I mentioned eating eating for myself, but seriously though, because I would like do these things for other people too. So like, I'm such a giver that I would like prioritize other people, and I needed to start prioritizing myself. And I knew the only way I could do that was taking time for myself. So I couldn't do it all. I got an assistant, and that was a beautiful experience because I feel like I learned so much about myself and leadership. I also learned that there's a lot that I probably should still do because I want it done a certain way. And with that, a lot also leads to needing to create better routine and balance in my life, because that's the only way that I can perform optimally. But again, it's not just about being performance driven, it's about being healthy too. And optimal health is living good as well as living productively. So my focus is to live good and be productive. So I wanted to update you guys and that was the purpose of this, to just share a little bit about why I wasn't filming as much, why I will be filming more, and why this is what probably caused me to film today is the fact that, another life update, I am getting Invisalign, and I will probably make another video talking about my journey with my teeth and my mouth and my voice and all of those things. But getting Invisalign is super, super important to me because I battle with my speech and expressing myself and sharing myself comfortably. And I think when you're so in your head about what you're saying, how you're saying it, I've also always been told that I'm super soft-spoken, so I'm also in my head right now about can they even hear me clearly. But I feel like what's important is me doing it, and I decided I'm not gonna structure my videos anyway to make it appeasing. I'm gonna do what I feel when I feel. I'm gonna post videos when I feel, and I feel like I'm rambling, so I hope all of this makes sense for the person watching and feels like a conversation. But I decided I didn't want to I'm going to create limits by letting go of limits in my head. So I want to create physical structures and getting out of the anxiety in my head. And I feel like by creating routine, it will actually give me the freedom I want. And optimize my time more. So let's see, I'm gonna backtrack and cover my food update, because I know if you've watched the first few videos on my page, like that, I was saying a lot there about disordered eating, and I want to let people know that I now realize there are some ways that you can help alleviate those feelings or those symptoms or those bad habits really and behaviors that are attached to disordered eating, because you might be someone who, like me, saw it, knew that it wasn't okay and wanted to do something about it, but not necessarily know how. So I want to share a little bit of how I combat that. And what I do is, one, share. If you know you don't have healthy habits that you want to break, having an accountability partner, having an accountability community will really, really help. I know there's resources for disordered eating. There's also just your friends and family, or you might realize that talking to other friends will help you and them realize that maybe you both have unhealthy habits. I saw a meme on Twitter that was like, which I found funny because I related to it, but I also was like, this is kind of not healthy. It was like a cup of coffee and a vape, and that was like breakfast this morning, and it's like, that's not healthy. And yeah, sometimes we can intermittent fast. I don't want to actually say that's not healthy. Anything that's a habit that's done over time that makes you not feel good isn't healthy. I'll put it that way. Because I think sometimes your body might need that cup of coffee in the morning. Vaping, we know, has health risk and health factors, and that's for you and to decide on if it's something that you want to do. But I also think it's important to know how you feel and having routines and spiritualizing your day in a way that it makes you feel comfortable. So I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but I will say, think about how things make you feel. Are you of optimal health when you do it? And if you're not, then maybe you should think, this might not be bad, but it might not be for me. For example, you might have allergies, you might be allergic to bananas, but that doesn't mean bananas are bad. It just means they're not for you. And the more we focus on the things that are for us, we won't pay so much attention to what we can't have or what we shouldn't be doing, and instead we will enjoy what we can have and what we can do. So that is what I have been doing in terms of eating. Is I shared it with you guys. So one, I wanted to have people hold me accountable, but two, I would say the second big point is having food for yourself, like having food available for you at all times. If you know that you can go without eating when you are stressed, if you know that when you are anxious, you do not prioritize food, or you do not realize you have hunger signals happening in your body, like you are so disconnected from what's physiologically happening to you, then it might be good to just have food or have water around. just so that when you do need it, it's available. Another thing is setting a timer. This is something I haven't done yet, but probably will, and that's why I'm putting it in this video. But my boyfriend, he's been a great accountability partner, along with a lot of my other friends and you guys, my YouTube community, because I know that if I want to share a message with you, I want to hold myself accountable to it. But he was the one who was saying, like, it would be great if you just like set a timer. It's a great, and that was 11:11. I love angel numbers, so that's another, that for me is another sign that I definitely could use the timer option too. But timers are great because even if you don't remember, even if you have food around but you're so focused on work, you set a timer and now you know that, all right, everyone's on their phones, so you might not be doing anything else, but you're going to be on your phone or you're on your computer, or if you have a HomePod or Google Home or Nest or whatever, all the Alexa, all these things, like sync them, put a timer, set an alarm, remind yourself to take a break. Not just for food, but taking breaks for yourself in general is so imperative. And I'm realizing, like, I actually get more work done when I just say screw it, or okay, that's bad. That is not the advice I'm trying to give, but you feel me. When you just say, like, you know what, it's gonna all get done, like it's just all gonna get done. You let your mind rest for a second, and then miraculously now you have the inspiration, the energy, the motivation to get it done. So my food journey, to wrap that up, is, and also my tips, accountability, timing, also having food around. And lastly, I will say self-care when it comes to food. Like, I would be like, oh, I don't want to spend money on food. I would guilt myself for cooking, or guilt myself for not eating the right types of food or healthy foods. And sometimes when you are battling with disordered eating, what's most important is that you eat. Orthorexia is real. For those who are watching who don't know what orthorexia is, it is the person who battles with disordered eating because of their, I don't want to say fascination or desire to be skinny. So you find yourself actually not eating because you want to eat healthy. Sorry, that is my phone. My friends try to take me to the pool. Well, not take me to the pool. I have a pool here, so we probably gonna go. And that, even putting moments of rest, moments of break time in my day that's different and fun, like going to my apartment pool, or taking a walk with my dog, or grabbing a coffee when I usually just make it at home. Those are ways that I've added fun into my day and variety. And for those of us who also battle with ADHD, which I will get back to orthorexia, adding variety and switching it up, like I think even me switching it up and moving outside for this video, I know it's more noise, but I feel so much more comfortable and feel like I'd probably make more videos with it being here. So yes, it's important to do what feels comfortable for you, because you're more likely to do it. You're more likely to keep consistent habits and patterns. So self-care for me, and what feels comfortable for me, is realizing that it's okay to sometimes eat out. And self-care is grabbing food, and allowing myself a cheat day, and sometimes eating outside of a strict vegan plant-based diet when I know that's like my higher self ideal. But there's moments my body needs to flex, and I enjoy a piece of salmon here and there. And I notice that having these restrictive titles of I'm vegan or I'm vegetarian or I'm this, y'all could keep the labels. I am plant-based. I love plants, I love eating of the earth, and I love feeling good and healthy, and I highly recommend people doing what works for them. If that is eating vegan, that's great. If that is eating keto, that's great. If it's gluten-free, that's great. I think sometimes I need those different diets, or I don't even want to say diet, but those different lifestyles when it comes to food at different times. Like, there's moments I've been vegetarian and loved it, and then all of a sudden I was like, I don't like how my body looks, or I don't like how I feel, or I'm not getting enough energy. And I wouldn't even say it's necessarily the diet, it's usually something greater that I'm doing. Also, we are beings that change every 7 years. Our whole body, our cells, everything, we completely change. So in order to take care of ourselves, we have to relearn ourselves each time, and honestly, even more regularly than 7 years. I think you should be taking time to check in with yourself and relearn yourself every day. Like, you might love something one day and hate it the next. And also, you should be able to sit back and acknowledge, is my desire swinging so rapidly? And like, how do I also keep that in check too? Because the goal is balance. What else do I have to say in terms of updates? Yeah, so overall, my focus has just been being healthy. You know, some days I'll notice I have gone long periods without grabbing a bite, and instead of beating up myself, I'm like, you know what, how do I do that better the next day? Or I check in with myself with how I feel. I'll tell a very quick short story. So I was gathering things for vending at the Melrose Trading Post. As I mentioned, I have an apothecary shop, and I'm really excited to vend. It's a new opportunity. Again, new opportunities give people who have expectations or used to things being a certain way anxiety. So I was like, I need to make sure it's perfect. Now that I've vended once there, I want to elevate it this week. So this past week, I've been really running around crazy for this umbrella stand and this signage that I wanted for my table, because I felt like it'd really bring it to another level. And I got what I wanted eventually, but it took a lot of running around and, you know, overworking myself. And even though I did do a lot of groundwork in that time, I didn't like how I felt. And I also realized I didn't eat till the very end of that day. And I was like, I wonder if this day would have been as annoying to me had I eaten earlier instead of waiting to eat. My voice is tired. Had I eaten earlier instead of waiting to eat. So with that being said, I was like, you know what? At this point, I need to still find these things. So I hadn't found it at the end of that day. I was like, I checked in with myself that night. I was like, Nicole, you still have to search for these things, and you don't want to feel like crap tomorrow. So how do you do this better? So Friday, I woke up. I made sure I checked in with myself. How do I feel? I didn't want to eat right away because I still felt like I needed to clear my stomach from the night before, which is why I think it's okay not to necessarily always eat just because, but check in. Am I hungry? Do I need to use the bathroom first and then need to eat? And I did that, and I noticed, I told myself, all right, you had coffee this morning, you haven't eaten yet, it's around this time, you might not be that hungry, but go home and make yourself cereal before you do any other work. And that one check-in, I feel like completely saved my mood for the rest of the day. I did get things done quickly, but I also did have things that didn't go the way I expected that day. I was trying to finish all my work so I could take a day off to travel and do local travel, because again, I haven't been traveling during the pandemic. And knowing that my trip I couldn't go just because it just wasn't good timing, and I knew that it was something I wanted, I had to just honor the universe telling me it's gonna take 4.5 hours to get there. The friend that you're visiting is really tired and burnt out and probably needs to focus on work right now. And you also are really tired and burnt out and maybe don't need to do a 4.5 hour drive right now when you have to vend. So with all that into consideration, I stayed and I rested in a different way. And I do really feel like because I took the time to eat and rest and just allow the universe to do what it did, nothing took sweat off my back. I also had changes in my work environment that didn't take sweat off my back, because I was like, oh, I guess that was just for a moment in the universe. Again, I allowed it to do what it needed to do. And in this moment, I'm at such peace. I'm happy. Life happens, things come and go, changes happen, but I think it's being present, it's choosing to move past it and say, you know what, I'm gonna do it regardless. I'm gonna do this video regardless if it's completely clear and I have the perfect mic set up, because I decided I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of things needing to be perfect for me to do them, because I hadn't done a lot of things that I wanted to do. Like, I had a huge YouTube goal because I really love doing it, but then I noticed that my speech or not feeling comfortable on camera kept me back so much, and I'm just so tired of it, because I'm like, I have so much I want to share. So what to expect from me? What you should expect from me is more of what I'm doing, but less of time. Like, there's not going to be a time on any of these videos. Time is relevant, and I felt like the pressure of doing weekly videos is what was adding in my head, on top of every week is different for me. Like, I didn't know that 1 week I was going to build out a website and it was going to take 2 weeks to finish that process, which is advantageous, and I'm super proud I did it. But also, I now fell out of my YouTube routine, and then I just stopped making videos for 2 months. So I'm trying to figure out a way to just create and flow in that creation, and there's no pressure, because now I'm like, oh, I have to, what do I say now that I go back, because I took this time off and the last thing I posted was a weekly video. I don't want to do that anymore. So what to expect is spontaneity. What to expect from me are videos on human design, because I am a human design reader. I want to share more about what I do and my services. I also want to share more about Reiki healing, because I love doing distance healing work. I love sharing my energy and connecting to the energy of others, and doing it in a way that I feel like is controlled and protective of my energy, but also full of light, because Reiki is universal universal life force energy. So it's the purest and just most radiant energy that you want to have or give or connect with someone. And with that being said, I like connecting in that way. Who doesn't want to connect through the highest form of positive energy? And I think YouTube and sharing videos about wellness and spirituality and light is another way I can continue doing that. And I think the reason why I miss making videos so much is because I missed being able to have the conversations I wanted to have. And I get to do that when I create content. So for anyone who's watching this video and is struggling to create content, or wanting to figure out, how do I do this? How do I want to be this productive, or I want to be this optimal? And you do it by being. I just watched a video from Eckhart Tolle, who's amazing. Read all of his books and writings and listen to him speak. He is a person who I feel like is an ascended master of our time. I also feel like that about Oprah Winfrey and Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williamson, all these amazing people who are thought leaders and are here to teach high vibrational living and wellness. And Eckhart Tolle mentioned that we are so focused on information. Who cares if you are so smart and you can tell somebody anything that's on Google, but you don't know how to be kind? Or you are so self-cared up, and you have such great boundaries because you've read all these psychology books that you don't know how to have a long-standing relationships. These things are just, if not more important than the information that you are reading about. And living is how you get to learn those experiences. Books are important, experiences are the greatest teacher. If you read The Alchemist, a book that I love, it's an amazing book, but it's a book about the hero's journey, and it really took him experiencing and living life for him to get the wisdom and the nuggets that he needed. It wasn't the teachers, it wasn't the guides or earth angels that he met along the way, but it was the experience of going through the journey. So what my videos are going to be are experiences of me going through the journey. I hope to also share about my Invisalign journey, human design, Reiki, astrology updates, and more. And I love you guys for all those that watch and support and comment. I appreciate it. It means a lot, because then I know that when I do this, it's not in vain. It's not in vain regardless, but sometimes, you know, after we get affirmed through our environment, and that's good too. So if you want to see more videos like this, if you like this video and it resonates with you, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If not, feel free to comment. I want to know your thoughts and your opinions too. I think you can share them in a respectful way, and that's beautiful. So if you can do that, I would love to hear what you have to say. And I will see you guys soon. I get Invisalign today at 5, so who knows what this is gonna look like. I might do an update, I might not, we'll see. No pressure, no pressure. Bye.
Stay connected with me at With Love Cole.